This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Okay, guys. So yesterday we were discussing about the different identification techniques, right? So, we were working on this demo web shop application, right? So when we open this application, see here, we used to see the register button, right? Test. Now instead of register, we are seeing test123 novo at test.com because we are logged in with this user ID, right? So that is the reason why you are able to see this. And here we are able to see logout now. Instead, before we were seeing log in. Okay, and these two are same. Okay, so you have to keep a note of this. All right, now let me open the notepad first and then put it for day 8, right? Yeah, so the different identification techniques. Hmm, identify by properties, identify by anchor, identify by index, identify by image. Okay, so you have already seen what is identify by properties, right? Identify by properties you have already seen, and you have seen the property section also for each of the object, right? So these things. Now let us see how to do the identification using anchor. So let me scan. All right. So now guys, see, this is not uniquely identifiable. See, the selected item is not unique, right? So we know how to make this element unique using identify by property, right? See, by selecting this outer HTML or see by inner HTML, see, we can make that unique. We know that, right? So just assume we selected everything here and we were unable to make that unique. Okay, we were unable to make that unique. Just assume that. So we tried everything. So the properties did not help us. The representation properties, technical properties, and transition properties, these did not help. Okay, so at that time what you should do, see, this is an image. Don't select any image objects. That is not recommended because the image resolution may change. Okay, and it will fail, right? So that is the reason why don't select this image. So the next one will be, see, this text, this test123 novo at test.com. Okay, see, this is the id, right? So this id may also change. See, if say for example tomorrow the next user may log in with his id, so here his id username will be displayed. Okay, even at that time. Okay, so if you take the reference of that element, it won't work. Okay, so for safer side, see, there is books. This won't change. This will be present forever in the application, right? So I will select this one. See, that element is unique. The selected item is unique, right? So now click on this element. Okay, identify by anchor. Click on that, identify by anchor. See, this section is now identify by anchor section, right? See, what does it tell? Drag a control on this panel to use it as an anchor for identify by anchor. or click on select on screen button to select the anchor control on the screen, right? So I am dragging this one. See, just drag this books and drop it here in this box, anchor control. See, calculate, identify by anchor. See guys, see, now this became unique. The selected item is unique now, right? The selected item is unique. How does this happen? See here, anchor control properties. You are able to see the anchor control properties. See the representation properties and technical properties. See, it selected inner text of books for this element. Okay, so tag. See, by taking the reference of this element is uniquely identified now, right? So I will save this and I will show you. See here, this is the element which we identified using anchor, right? See, I'll click here and I'll show the properties here. See, the difference is the relative ID. All the other properties will be same. Only the relative ID will be an extra thing added here because this is the anchor element. Okay, this is the relative to some other element. So see here, if you click on these three dots, see, I'll select this, I'll copy and I'll paste it in a notepad. I'll just show you how the relative ID is present. See, this much of code is present, the HTML code for this. See, this is the property of, these are the properties of this books element. See, you have node path, created by, created at, modified, all these things, the inner text, tag, engine. So all those things will be present here. See, value, tag, value. See, like that. See, business type, link, business ID, nothing. See, engine value is HTML, right? So like that, all those properties are present here in this relative ID of this one. Okay, so just make a note of this one, guys. Identify by anchor. What is identify by anchor? Identify by anchor means, so I think I have to copy the definition for this identify by properties from the previous class. Give me a minute. Here, okay. Identify by anchor. Identify an element using the reference of another uniquely identified element. Okay. And here, what are the special notes here? The properties, right? Property relative ID. Special property. We will tell this. Special property is relative ID. Okay. All right. And for this one, what is the property? The property, whatever the property you selected there, right? Identify by properties. So this one I name it as identify by anchor. Okay, so hope you understood now how to identify using anchor, right? Now let me explain you how to identify using index. So even for the same thing, go scan application. Okay, so same thing I will take, same object. See, that is not uniquely identified, right? And the first thing what we have to do to identify it uniquely is identify by properties. Okay, now we are assuming that we won't be able to identify this uniquely using properties. Next thing is you identify by anchor, and we are assuming that even we did not find any anchor here. Okay, in some applications you won't find the anchor element also, okay, to uniquely identify it. At that time you have to go for identify by index. See guys, see, you have identify by index 1 out of 100. See, what is index? First of all, what is index? See, a developer, when developing a application, right, they he might define few elements, web elements, okay, with the same properties. See, some elements, see this demo web shop, this demo web shop element, some 100 elements are present in this application, complete application. 100 elements are present in this application with the same property, associated, right? So at that time what developer will do, developer will assign some index number for each of the element. Okay, so like that there are 100 say elements, unique elements like this. Okay, out of which this is the first element, okay, so let me select that. See, if I select now, the selected item is unique. Okay, but Tricentis recommends if there are more number of index, see, the index number is more, okay, at that time don't select this index. Instead try to identify it using anchor or properties or parent. Okay, I'll tell you how to identify using parent. Okay, so for now just take this one, identify by index. Okay, so I will show you identify by index for other element also. Okay, so I'll take this simple computer, simple, otherwise add to cart, these add to cart. See, all add to carts. See, these add to carts, developer might have defined this add to cart using the same properties. Okay, so when you scan and select this add to cart, it won't be identified uniquely. See, add to cart, add to cart. See, all these add to carts. See, I will highlight this one. This is the first add to cart, this is the second add to cart, third, okay, fourth, fifth, and sixth add to cart. Okay, so at this time now it is relevant, to identify using index. See, if we click here now, see, you are already in the identify by index section. See, this is one, this is first element out of 6 elements, 6 add to cart elements are there in this screen. Okay, out of that this is the first one. If you select that, see, that is unique now. See, the selected item is unique. See, I will click on the second one. See, it changed, 2 out of 6. So I'll select this one and see, that became unique. Next is third one. See, 4, 5, and 6, right? So this is how you have to use the index, identify by index. When you should use, If you are unable to identify the object using property, if you are unable to identify the object using anchor, then go for index. Okay, or analyze if the developer might have defined the same properties for many objects in the same application or the same web page, then you go for index. Developer might have given the index number for all the unique objects, okay, identical objects. So now I am saving the module, saved, close it. We will see how the module gets saved. Identify by index, right? Now see, I am going to click on this one, the first element. See, I am going to the properties. See here, one more extra property added here out of all these properties. The constraint index is 1. Okay, this is 1 out of 100, right? And the next element, constraint index is 1 for add to cart. Add to cart first element. This is add to cart second element, so constraint index is 2, right? So like that, 3, 4, 5 and 6, right? You are, I hope you understood this. Identify the element using the index associated with that element. Use this property, use this technique while you are unable to identify the object using identify by property or anchor. Okay, and special property is constraint index. Okay, constraint index. All right, next, identify by image. And you already know this, how to do the identify by image. Okay, so just I will show you. See, right click, go to these 3 dots, I create image based control. Okay, this is not recommended by Tricentis, guys. Click on this plus symbol. Okay, so I want to identify, say for example, this demo. Okay, so demo, and this is a generic one, so I will take this shop as reference. Okay, so and I will change the accuracy to 70. Save it. See, it will come as screen by default, so I will name it as identify by image. Okay, now see, if you see here, see, this is the symbol for image and this is the control, and if you see the image, original image is demo. Here, see, we have selected that image, and for the property, if you see here, engine, algorithmic associations is control, and engine is the opt-int. Okay, so this is a special property for that, and business type is opt-int generic, right? Identify by image, so no explanation is required here. Special property is opt-int. So that is the engine it will use. Okay, now there is one more identification technique you have, guys. Okay, So identify by Parrot. Okay, so that one, some people, they consider that as a separate technique, identification technique, and some people they don't consider that as a different one, but they consider it as an identify by anchor only. But I will consider it as different, identify by Parrot, identify by Parrot. Okay, so let me show you how to identify an element using its parent. Scan the application. Okay, all right. Say, where is that? These books, see, I liked. These books are not uniquely identified. See, not unique, right? So, how to make this element unique by its parent? First of all, what is parent? See, developer has defined this books, in this HTML code. When we press F12, right? I have already shown that. Right? So using that HTML code, he has given some tags. Okay, and there will be some parent tags associated with this. I will show you in this one only. See, now what you will do, you will just expand the filter one by one. Still you did not get the parent of that. Just expand one more. Yeah, see, now you got the parent. So this is the immediate parent of books, and this is the next level parent. See, like that it goes on till here. Okay, see, if you collapse it, it will go off. If you expand, see, the books, and the next div, wait, so here the books, next is computers. See, all those things, even for the computers, this is the parent. Okay, so the immediate parent of these books is li. Okay, so now this books is not uniquely identified, right? So I'll just click on this li and check. See, now the books became unique. See guys, the books, the selected item is unique, but this li, this became not unique. So even if you create a module for this, this will not work, because it will search these books by taking the reference of this element. Okay, so even this will not work. So I will not select this one. So I will select the next parent, ul. Okay, even for that thing, see, even for that thing, this is not unique. Okay, so select next one. See guys, now see, even this books is uniquely identified, and this div is also uniquely identified. See, if you highlight, see, out of this, see, this div is corresponding to this whole thing. Okay, this whole thing. See, if you go for the properties of this div, see, the class name is list box. Inner text, there is something. See, inner text is books, computers, everything. If you come down, see, all these things are there. Okay, out of that, see, the control, when you execute this one, this module, okay, when you run it, when you create a module, create a test case and run this one, see, the control will come to this div. Okay, for this section, then it will search for books, these books. Okay, that is how it is, right? So now both the elements are uniquely identified, right? So now this books is uniquely identified by taking the reference of this element, and this element is the parent element of this one, right? So that is called identify by parent. Okay, I will show you now how it is created. Identify by parent. Now let me see. See, this is the div container. If you expand this one, you will get the book. books books won't have any special property because it is already inside this container. Okay, so whatever the properties it has, the books has, okay, those properties will be there for sure. And for div also, whatever the properties it has, okay, it will be having. But see, if you expand this only, you will get these books. Okay, these books will be inside this div. Okay, div container, because this is the parent element. Okay, hope you understood this one. Now identify by parent. Identify an element using the parent element of X. Okay. The parent element should also be unique. All right. Okay, so I think now you have seen all the different identification techniques, which are very important, and you will definitely get an interview question on this. Okay, so I'll just update all. Okay, right, so now I have updated everything, guys. So do you have any questions in this identification techniques? Did you guys understand everything? I think I explained it very clearly by not confusing you people.
I have a question, Benny.
Yes, Shiva.
So normally the identification by properties is generally used, right?
Yeah, yeah,
In most of the cases.
yeah, yeah.
So how often do we use the other techniques as well?
Good question. So it all depends on your application, Siva. See, your application and how the developer has defined, how the developer has developed the objects. Okay, it all depends on the development. Okay, so if the developer has given unique properties for all the elements, okay, unique properties for all the elements, then Tosca will directly identify using identify by properties. Okay, you don't want to deal with any of the things. If developer has used same properties to define an element, okay, for all the different elements, now Tosca will get confused. What should I take the unique element to make the element unique, right? So at that time Tosca will not uniquely identify the particular element, right? So at that time, that is your duty to make the element unique by going for anchor or index or parent. Okay, so it all depends. Now previously we have worked on sample up application, right? So this sample up application is developed in such a way that all the elements are unique in this application. You don't find an element, okay, which is not unique. All the elements, maximum 90% of the elements here will be uniquely identified using properties by default. Okay, there will be no extra work from an automation test engineer to make the elements unique, because the developer has developed the objects in such a way. But in demo web shop, when you come to demo web shop, you'll find many objects which are not unique, right? Which are not unique. So now that is your duty to make that unique by selecting identify by anchor, identify by index, identify by parent. Okay, those things. So you understood, right, Shiva?
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions on this identification part?
Yes, sir. No.
Yes, Saraswati.
Identify by image. What is meant by generic and
Please be louder. Your voice is feeble.
in identify by image, what is mean by generic and other options, sir?
I'll show you. Okay, so this one, right? See, now to our XScan, our image scan window is asking you what type of element is this. Choose the control type. See what type of element is this. Is this a button or text box or any other generic things? See, this is not a button. See, this element is not a button. It is not a text box. Okay, if it is not a button and if it is not a text box, we consider all other things are generic. Okay, so this is not a button, right? Button means if you click on it, it should navigate to some other thing, something like that. If you know what you, if this is a text box, you select this as a text box, but even this is not a text box, right? So if that is not a button, if that is not a text box, then you select generic. Okay, you understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And one more thing, name is always showing control. Can we change that?
yeah, definitely you can change it. See, identify by image, right? See this one, you can change
Yeah.
it whatever
Mm.
in the module section. You cannot change
one-
the, you cannot change this in the test case section, guys. Okay, you can change it only in the module section.
Okay. And one more doubt, sir. We are creating configuration parameters. Can we change the browser in it at any time?
During runtime you cannot change. If you want to change it in the runtime, you have to handle it using the buffers in the test case. Okay, other than that you can change it anytime. So I'll teach that in TCP. Next is TCP on next concept.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Any other questions on this identification technique part? Mugdha, Sangeeta, Sirisha, Sneha, Soumi. Maximum of the people's name in this batch starts from S. That's a coincidence. Okay, right. So let us move to the next part. Okay. So the next part will be login part. So for that, first I'll log out this one, and yeah, this is the home page. So when you launch a demo webshop.tricentis.com, you will be launched to this home page where you will see register, login, shopping cart, wish list. Okay. Now I'll try to log in with this ID. Let me check manually how this is working. Test 123 Novo, right? Password might be oh, password is wrong. Okay, yeah, this is working. Okay, all right. Okay guys, so we are in the home page now. So let us try to automate login. Let us try to automate login. So for that one, you need to scan. No, we have already scanned. See, register is there, login is there, shopping cart, wish list, login is there, right? So if you want to click on login, you already have a module. So go to test case. In the demo web shop, you have the register test case done. Now let us automate the login test case. Login to demo web shop. Okay. This is planned state. Now I will create 3 folders. Precondition, workflow, post condition. Okay, so in the precondition you have to launch the application. So I'll just copy from other test case, guys. See, I am just copying these 2 steps. Just copy, Control C, and click on precondition, Control V. See, because The first is launch, same test case, same test step, right? So launch application, here also see launch application demo webshop.Tricentis, and you verify if the application is launched or not by verifying this logo. So we are verifying. The next is click on login, right? Click on login. So for that one, we will drag this one, this module, put it in workflow. Okay, here select click, right? Select click. So if you select click, it will just go ahead and click on that one. Okay, so I'm not going to run this single test step. So I'll just do the manual activity. I'll just complete my development and then run the whole test case. Okay, see, I clicked on login manually. Now I need this email box, password box, and then click login. These two things I want. Okay, now I'll go ahead and scan it, because we don't have a module for that, right? So I'll scan that one application. Okay, see here, you have this email text box. If you see here, see, this is the text box for email. If you highlight, see, this is getting highlighted here. If you see here, see. Okay, now then you select it. See, the selected item is unique. You can check the properties, ID, email, tag, input, and password text field, text box. See, for that one, ID, password, tag, input, and remember me checkbox. This is a checkbox. If you see here, see this checkbox, that is okay. Remember me checkbox. Next is, if you want that forgot password to select, so select that also if you want. And this is a login button. See, okay means that is button. If you want to search, see, highlight it. It is getting highlighted. Okay, now I am going to save it, close it, go to Tosca. This one, see, demo webshop.login. Okay, where does this demo webshop.login come from? From the title, see, demo webshop.login. Okay, now drag this module to test cases, put it here in workflow only, and I will rename that to enter login details. Okay, now this email is what is it? Test 123 novo at test. Is this correct, guys? Let me check that. Test 123 novo test. Yeah, and the password is this. Okay, and then I'll just click on login. That's it, right? We are done. Right? So once this thing is done, guys, see, test. So I am doing these steps manually. Now see, then I'll click on login, right? So once you click on login, guys, you have to make sure that whether you have logged in with your ID or not. Correct? You have to make sure of that. How will you make sure whether your ID, you are able to log into the demo web shop using your ID or not? See, by checking this one. By checking this email ID, you can make sure that this is your profile. Okay, and you can also check whether this logout is present or not. Okay, so for that one, we will scan again. Go to module, demo web shop, right click, scan application. See here it is, test 123 novo. So select that, and logout is there, select that. Shopping cart is there, select that. wish list, select that. Okay. Yeah, save it, finish screen and close. Now see demo web shop. See guys, you have to rename these modules. Okay, I'm not doing it, you have to do the namings. Okay, put here. So I'll put this in post condition. Okay, so post condition we are just verifying, verify if we are logged in to our profiles. Okay, so now see this one, we just verify exists equal to true, that's it. Exists equal to true, action mode verify, that's it, you are done. Right, now I'll close it, close the application, log out and close, because close. Now I will run this whole test case. See now that is still in work. No, it is completed. So see completed, right? So you can right click and run in Sketchbook. Launched the application. Oh, it launched in Edge, guys. Okay, no problem. It is working in Edge. See it passed. So it verified and it passed. Okay. If you want to see the result, see processing execution result will come in Sketchbook. If you expand, see all the verifications are successful. Okay, right. So we have automated the login page also. Login page of demo web shop application. Now, guys, see when you're working in any live project, say for example you have 10 automation test engineers in your team, and you have developed this test case, log into demo web shop. Okay, at that time, okay, say for example everybody who have access to this demo web shop application, they have to log in to the demo web shop application, correct? So they have to use the same test case. It is not a good idea to develop the same test case by all the 10 automation test engineers, right? Because this is the same test case, right? So at that time, to use the same test case by all the other 10 automation test engineers, okay, so you can create this test case as a library, right guys? So you can create this as a library. So now I will tell you what is a library. Library, or in Tosca we call it as reusable. So reusable test step block. Reusable test step block, or we call it as RTB. RTB. Okay. Reusable test step block or RTB. What is that library, or what is that reusable test step block? The test steps which can be reused in any test case n number of times. Okay, so this is like a function, okay, where you use that function wherever you want. So in any coding language, in Selenium or Java, you know, that library. The same concept here, it is present here also in Tosca. We call it as reusable test step block, okay, or we call it as a library. So let me show you how to create a library. So click on any folder, okay, click on any folder, right click. See, there is a L folder. See, create test step library. Click on that. See, now you got a library folder. Correct. You got a library folder, right? So I'll put it at the top. Inside this demo web shop only. Let it be at the beginning. Now, right click on this library. See, here there is one more option called create reusable test step block. I'll click on that one and I'll create a reusable test block and I will name it as login to demo web shop. Log into demo web shop. Now I will paste, I'll copy all these things and I'll paste it here. See, precondition, workflow, post condition, everything, all these things, see, whatever is present here, launch application, check whether the application is launched or not. In the workflow, click on login and then verify whether the email ID password present or not. In the post condition, whether it just verify whether that profile is present or not, all those things. Okay, now see, this is the library. Okay, now I will delete all these things in this test case. Okay, log into demo web shop underscore Vinay is the test case now. Okay, now if you want to log in, see, this is the library you have created and this is the reusable test step block you have created for login to demo web shop. Now all the 10 users, say for example Vinay, Shiva, Mugdha and all these people, you know, if they want to log in, they can just drag this one and put it in their test cases. See, log into demo web shop Vinay. So now I can run this in on my own in my test case. Okay, so now even Mugdha can create her own test case. Okay, login Mugdha. See, Mugdha will also, what she will do, she will come to this library, drag this reusable test step block and keep that in our test case. Okay, same thing. Okay, all this login will work. Okay, so that is how this library concept will work, guys. Hope you guys got the concept and how to create a library. Right. Now I'm going to delete this one. See, if you right click and create, if you on this folder right click and check, see, there is no L folder, library folder present here because the library folder is already created. For one folder, test case folder, you can create only one library. See, if you right click on this sample app, you will be able to see this test step library folder. See? Now it says that only one library folder can be created in a folder, test step folder, right? So very important. Note points. Note. Only one library folder can be created. Only one library folder can be created on one test case folder. Test case folder. Okay. Now see guys, this reusable test step blocks. See, if you right click on this library, you can create one more reusable test step block. Say for example for registration. Okay, for registration also, if you want to create, you can do that. Register. Okay, so for registration also, see, I'll drag these things and I'll put it here. See, for register also you can create one folder. See, now I will drag this register reusable test step and put it here in the register. See, this is the reference created for this reusable test block. Now see, you can create n number of reusable test blocks inside a library folder. Okay, see, you can create. See, I will right click. See, I can still create. Okay, now guys, see, these are the references. Observe the symbol. These are the references. See, if you right click on this one, jump to, see, there is an option called jump to reusable test step block. See, the control came here to register. See, if I click here, login to demo webshop underscore reference, see, underscore reference is there. Right click, jump to reusable test step block. See, the control will go to login. See, it goes to login, right? Now, see guys, if you do any changes here, okay, if you do any changes in this test case, the same change will be applied here also. See, if you do some verifications, exists equal to true, verify, then this change will also be affected here also. See, where is that answer? This is register, right? Login here. See, exists equal to true, shopping cart. It reflected here also. Okay, and whatever change you do here, see this, verify, even this change will reflect here in the library reusable test block. See, I'll click here and I'll show you. See, remember me exists equal to true. Okay, see, whatever changes you do here will reflect in the reference. Whatever changes you do in the reference will get reflected in the actual element also. Okay, and so this, in some cases some conflicts will happen. Okay, so login is there now some person may want, because this login will be used by 10 different automation test engineers in your team. Okay. One person just wants to just log in. He doesn't want to verify this remember me. He doesn't want to verify this shopping cart, right? So now if I change this one in my Vinay folder right here, so if I change something here now, it will reflect here also. So in all other test cases also, all other 10 people's test case also, it will be affected, right? This change will be affected in all others test case also. So to avoid that one, see, once I drag this login reusable test block to my ID, to Vinay test case. See, I drag this login to demo webshop to my test case, right? So once I drag that one, what I'll do, I'll right click on this reference and I'll do resolve reference. See, resolve reference means now the connection, see the change, the symbol changed. What will happen? The connection between this folder and this folder will be lost. Okay, now there is no connection between this and this. This is independent now. Okay, now if you do any changes here, it won't affect the previous one. See, if I do any changes here, exists equal to verify, I will put on this forgot password. Now I will go and check here. See, nothing will affect here. See, forgot password is empty here. Okay, because the reference is resolved. Resolve reference we have done, right guys? So these are all the things you just want to know in this library concept, guys. So library concept is very powerful concept, reusable test step block concept. You have to note it down. So resolve reference is used to disconnect the connection between the reference folder and reusable test step block. Okay, all right guys. So Now I will again go for the questions if you have any questions, guys. So did you
Yeah,
understand this library concept? Yes.
I have
Who
a
is there?
question actually.
Yeah, Venkat. Yes,
Yeah,
Venkat.
so your demo web shop is a test case, correct?
Demo web shop. Where is it? Yeah.
So inside a test case, we have added a library.
This is a test step folder. This is not a test case. Demo web shop is a test step folder. This is a test case, and this is a test case.
So
Observe
demo
the
web
symbol.
shop is a, so
Demo web
then
shop
what
is
is
a
demo web
folder.
shop?
This is not a test case. Okay. Inside the folder, we have one library, two test cases. These are the test cases. The
Okay,
register is a test case. Log into demo web shop underscore Vinay is a test case.
okay. So in that notepad, can you please open the notepad once? I mean, I'm confused actually with the statement what I've given. So
Okay.
only one no, just come down. Only one library folder can be created on one test case folder. So what do you mean by test case folder? I mean test case folder in the sense,
This is the
there
test
is a,
case.
okay. So under the test case folder, we can have different test cases, but for one test case folder, we can have only one library.
Only one library. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is clear, right? What is the confusing statement here? I think
So I thought
this is
demo
clear.
web shop is a test case.
No, no.
That's fine. That's fine. I
Demo
got it,
web shop
Vinay.
is a test step folder.
Okay. Okay. Test case
Okay.
folder. In the test case folder, we have added a library, and we are using that library, in each of the test case, what we have written under that folder.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Makes
Right.
sense. Thank you, Vinay.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, guys. So please start practicing. So you are jumping into all the required concepts slowly. Okay. So start practicing. Come up with doubts. So then only you learn. Okay. So thank you guys. Thank you all. Thanks for joining, and we'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.